Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, June 9th, 2025. And do we have a melt up scenario on our hands? Well, that's what we've been continuing to look for here, but maybe there's a little bit of risk coming into tomorrow as we get into CPI week. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, please, and thank you. Appreciate all of you guys doing that. Helps out the channel a lot, helps me out, keeps me happy. Also, you can find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. We also have much anticipated sale going on. So we've been talking about that lately. Summer sale 25, so 60% off or $60 off your first month of active trader, 30% off swing trades, and 40% off all courses. Code summer sale 25 for the courses, and no need for codes for anything else. So if you've been waiting, good time to get in now. We actually took multiple winners today in both services. So trimming out some gains here and continuing to roll this year. But anyways, let's get into it here today. So kind of a quiet day for the most part. But we had, we're up 25 basis points here. And we're just kind of basing right now. And ES, hanging right in there. We've been in this range here for an hour. And we just keep walking up, right? We're just stair stepping up. And we talked about this last couple of weeks here. But this market's going to get supported with any sort of dip here, and that's why we're so anemic. We're into that summer, it's after Memorial Day, right? And we're not into the quarterly OPEX right now. By the way, speaking of the quarterly OPEX, that JPM collar is underwater right now, just in case you're wondering about that. It's losing money every second we speak here. So with that, I believe it's 59.05 if I'm not mistaken. They actually hedged it up, so they actually rolled it higher. It was lower. I think, what's the actual strike? Yeah, 59.05. That's underwater by over 100 points. That said, for tomorrow, I'm not really sure what it is, but there is a little bit of risk to 591 on SPY specifically. And again, it's something that we, have access to in the trading room. So you get this included with active trader, but you can see here, there's some risk to 591 there. So our dealer tail is telling us that. Does it mean we have to go there? No, it doesn't, but it tips our antennas for that. There's also some risk for Wednesday too, but that makes sense because we have CPI. So just something to consider. Right now, I think tomorrow it's pretty quiet data-wise, if I'm not mistaken. Tomorrow, yeah, we just, there's really nothing. Three-year note. So we'll see, maybe something happens overnight. They did kind of come out with that deal, not the deal, but it seems that that's going to be like resolved so that we got that embargo taken care of and the mineral deal taken care of. You saw chips have a good day today. SMH was up 2%. Look at the stocks here. That was on a tear of 3% at one point. Still up 2.72 currently. And that tells us to be, on the long side here. When semis are strong, you don't want to be fighting the market. Tesla, nice red to green day too. Good gauge for risk on, of course. And Microsoft making new all-time highs here. So we've got good structure here. Look at the transports as well. Curling back up nicely today. Bull inside bar. And that's held the whole way. We've whipped through it a few times, but never closed below. You had the failed bear flag. And this is trying to follow up on the inverted head and shoulders. Speaking of IWM continuing up, this will have some resistance at 215. Could it overshoot to the 200 moving average? Yeah, but that's where the call wall is right now at 215. Maybe if it consolidates and gets through that and go to 220, but right now that's I would assume the first hit should hold on the Russell. But again, small caps leading, transports leading, and SMH leading. You don't want to get too bearish. So I think if we do get dips and like I said, if there is some risk that comes into the tape here, you're probably going to want to be on the long side of that and looking for those opportunities here, at least for the next couple of weeks. So markets still acting well here. There's 60.15 SPX. We're not that far off of all-time highs. Triple Q, same deal, less than 10 points. So stones throw away. We get a Goldilocks CPI. This can just rip right up there. Dow up 81 cents on the diamond, trying to close and trigger that inverse head and shoulders. We kind of, I guess I could probably take this down. Let's just get this exact. I mean, we basically closed. We closed above it Friday. We'll call it triggered. But today, if Friday didn't trigger it, this is going to trigger it here, unless we just like melt down in the next 20 minutes. So we'll call that triggered. SMH again, 260, a bit of a level. We went into a pivot high right there. SOX still pretty strong. ASML, AMD, Micron. These things are coming on a tear here. KLA, AMAT, Qualcomm, TXN, everything really getting a bid in the semi space today. The semis are continuing to act well. IGV continuing to act well here. Nice pattern there. We talked about the transports. We had yields catch a little bit of a pullback today. So the 2-year caught a bid. But again, rate cut odds are, we're not getting a cut here in June. And I don't think the market cares. 10-year, which is the yield, down a little bit today, but still bullish. All right, still in a bullish configuration, as is the 30s. So they're still hanging in there. XHB had a nice day today too, but still inside of this tight range for the last 4 days. Got to break above that 97 handle to really confirm that higher low setup. What did break out in housing land though is VNQ, or at least it's trying. It was, yeah, it looks like it came back in a little bit. So we'll see if it holds that by the end of the day. I think that's a fake print there. We'll see if that holds that by the end of the day. But either way, if you can push off of this 90 handle, it should be in good shape to run up to, 92.50 or so. You can see the weekly 200 right there, intersecting the weekly 50 as well. Banks were kind of soft today. XLF down 18 cents. Came off the lows though. I should say, I think a lot of it came from, it was like Visa and MasterCard. Because JPM was strong. I know KRE was strong. That led right out of the gate. KBE strong too. So trying to get back above the 200 again. You got this inverse look on a lot of things here. So that's just waiting to trigger. Broker dealers held up all right as well. We had oil continuing to break out. We talked about this, break above 64. This should get to 66.50 at least. So I would think that's your near-term target. And then through that, I think I just drew a fib on it not that long ago, but yeah, like 68, 69. You got this futures gap up there. So right in that $68 to $70 handle. We'll have to see what it looks like if and when it gets there, and we'll get a little more accurate of a target. But right now, we'll just say that it broke out of the range like we expected it to. XLE was up as well. XOP strong, and OIH finally getting. It looks like it almost could have a higher high finally. So all the way down to that 200 handle and catching a bit. It's still got a lot of work to do though. About up 2%. CCJ had a really big day too, up another 11, URNM and MJ, back above the 200 moving average respectively, so nice moves on those. So those continue to act well. Nat Gas was quiet, still got an inside bar, bull inside bar, 2 of them actually. So I'll give that the upside bias unless that fails. Dollar was quiet today. That said, dollar yen, that looks like, so very similar to oil here. So notice how we talked about this, you had the hit, then it was like a month in between, and then it was like a week, and then it was literally every day. If we look at the dollar yen here, look at how it's 50 MA, rejection, tries to break above after like a month, rejection, tries to break above after 2 weeks, rejection, tries to break above after 1 week, right? And it's not really rejecting now, right? You can see like, you kind of see it in the RSI, right? Like it's just getting those higher lows there. So that 50 MA looks like it's trying to break away from that right now to the upside. In the near term, I don't know what it's going to do long term, but right now this area is holding, and the markets will like that as long as that is the case. Gold not doing too much today. The story was silver continuing up. This is going to 40, so no changes there. That's like basically a secular breakout at this point. SIL. Not making a high with silver today though, so just be aware of that. But it did lead before silver broke out, so we'll give it a break. But nice move there. Platinum also a huge move. Yeah, the one time you didn't try to get in front of that dip, it broke out. But nice move there for platinum. 1250 is next, and then like 13. Palladium, same thing. A little bit behind, but up 3% here. It's trying to curl up again. This monthly chart is just so good long term to me. Who knows when it's actually going to be time. Copper held up nicely today, up 1.1. Little overzealous last Thursday, backed off Friday, and now right back here. I think it's fine for now. And then you got, crypto here. Bitcoin looks just fine again. Beautiful retest of the 50. Everybody go, oh, bear flag. Yeah, but look at the uptrend though. You don't want to trust bear flags like that in strong uptrends like this. Nice retest, failure, false breakdown, right back up above the previous high, you know, the previous structure there. And again, this is a strong chart. Alt's held up pretty well too. You've got a nice inside bar there, but that still has some work to do. But yeah, Bitcoin looks strong. I wouldn't fight it here. So again, markets here just backing off a little bit towards the end of the day. I'm not going to make too much out of it. Again, unless we get a high volume sell, I wouldn't really worry too much. You do have, to be fair, you do have kind of like this rising wedge structure, and it is, you know, it's vulnerable. I just mentioned that there's risk for tomorrow and even Wednesday, right? It's, you know, it's right here, and we saw it, and we're seeing it in dealer flows now too. But that said, just so you know, like I can't tell you how many times I've seen in a bull market the rising wedge just break bull. It's like, it just, you know, like, because the trend is more important, right? The trend is more powerful. So it does happen. And I remember last year, this was like one of my favorite buys of last year too, was it right here? Let me use QQQ. I think that was it. Yeah, it was like right here. Everybody in the world was like, oh my, rising wedge, it's over. And they broke that, and we just went long right here, and we caught that election pump, and it was nice. So again, you know, maybe it breaks for 2 days, and then it just comes back. That's happened before, it will happen again. So anyways, we'll see what happens here tomorrow. Trend is up though, and dealers will start supporting this now on dips. So anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Take advantage of that deal, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.